Hello students, so today we will be starting with a new topic. The new topic name is the tree orders. This chapter is present in the class 12 of a history book, and today we will be understanding this chapter, the tree orders. You see here, introduction to federalism. This is not federalism, this is feudalism. By mistake it has written federalism, but it is feudalism. So you are aware of the term feudalism. You see, you have already heard about this term from the French Revolution book itself. From the French Revolution, we have heard about the word the feudal system. The feudal system was innovated by whom? By Louis XVI. So here we will be understanding that term only, feudalism. That what do you mean by the term feudalism? Now, the term feudalism has been used by historians to describe the economic, legal, social and political relationship that existed in Europe in the medieval era. Now, if I talk about the word feudalism, during the medieval era itself, this word has been innovated. So, during that time, this word was very much common. In the economic sense also, legal sense also, social sense also, and political relationship also, the feudalism word was much in common. Derived from the German word feud, which means a piece of land, it refers to the kind of society that developed in medieval France and later in England and in southern Italy. Now, what do you mean by the term feudalism? You see, feudalism came from the word feud. Feud means the piece of land. It's all related to the property itself and to the society itself. You see, first the word came during the medieval period in France. Then it was transferred to England and then to the southern Italy. Slowly, this word was spreading. Also, in an economic sense, feudalism refers to a kind of agricultural production which is based on the relationship between lords and peasants. The latter cultivated their own lands as well as that of the lord. So, in the economic sense, in the sense of the economic, it is related to the agricultural production. It is related to the agricultural production first of all, and it is based upon the relationship between peasants and the lord. It is based upon the relationship between the peasants and the lord, which means feudalism is all regarded with the agricultural produce, or you can say with a piece of land. So it is all related to the society itself. The latter cultivated their own land as well as that of the lord. The peasant performed labor services for the lords, who is exchange provided military protection. Now, the peasants performed labor services. Here, the peasants provided labor services. The peasant provide labor services in exchange of the protection. They will be doing the work of the king, but in exchange they want military protection. So due to the protection also, those peasants used to work for the lords, you can say, just because to get the military protection. Also, they also had extensive judicial control over peasants. This feudalism went beyond the economic to cover the social and political aspects of life as well. Now, regarding the judicial controls, you see, during that time, the lords have judicial control over the peasants itself. During that time, the lords, which are known as the kings as well, or the noble people. The noble people were very much powerful and they used to control the peasants during that time. And with the help of feudalism, went beyond the economic to cover the social and political aspects. Yes. Now you see, if I talk about feudalism, feudalism was limited only up to the piece of land, but slowly, it has controlled the economic sense as well, also the political and social aspect. You see, feudalism was becoming very common during that time. Although its roots have been traced to practices that exist in the Roman Empire and during the age of the French king Charlemagne, feudalism as an established way of life in large parts of Europe may be said to have emerged later in the 11th century. Now, as we have heard, feudalism came during the medieval period, especially on the parts of England, also in the parts of France as well. Slowly, it existed in the Roman Empire. In the Roman Empire itself also, this word has become very much common. And also on the other hand, feudalism, it later came during the 11th century. In the 11th century, this became more common. So here, one of the French king, Charlemagne was also the part of the feudalism. You see, Charlemagne also found the word feudalism. From him only the feudalism word has established the way of life. Feudalism has established the way of life during that time. Now, as I am going to the French Revolution, now what do you mean by the feudal system in the French Revolution? You see, in the feudal system, those who are people, the peasants, the artisans, they used to provide taxes. They used to give taxes for the noble people, but the noble people never used to give taxes. So this is the term feudal system. In the feudal system, those people who have very less income, those who are poor, or you can say belong from the backward classes, They used to provide the taxes. They used to give the taxes, but the lord people, the noble people, never used to give taxes in accordance with the feudal system. In the feudal system, this is the only this was the system. So here the feudalism system is completely different here. Though here the feudalism system is related to the land itself, and the peasants will be always under the lords. They will be always working under the lords. Here the taxes is not being mentioned here, but here how the peasants will be working up under the lords so that they can get the military protection. Here the feudalism system actually existed. Now as we have came into this page, so our institute is opening new courses for the high secondary arts and commerce students. And if you want to know more about our courses, then you can join the official WhatsApp group. In the official WhatsApp group, you will be getting the daily class updates, the important announcements, course details and notification, exam alerts and study material. And if you want to join the official WhatsApp group, then you have to click the link in the description section. In the description section, you will be getting the link and you will be getting all the important information. And if you want to know more regarding the courses of our institute, that you can contact us in this number 8638391721. Now here, the second order. Now we will be understanding about the second order, the nobility. So, priests placed themselves in the first order and the nobles in the second. The nobility had a central role in the social processes. This is because they control land. This control was an outcome of a practice called vassalage. Now, priest. If I talk about the priest who worked in the church, so they used to be the first class people. They are more in the existence of the noble people, and then the noble comes in the second class. You see, the priest used to think highly about themselves, and then the noble people will be coming. So as a result, the nobility had played a very central role in the social processes. They had played a central role in the social processes, and they had also controlled the land. In the feudal system also, we have heard that most of the land was under the priest and the noble people, but the poor people never used to get access to those lands. So the control was an outcome of a practice. So this control was known as the vassalage. This control was known as the vassalage. Very, very important here. I'm marking the term vassalage. You see the lands which are under the noble people and the priest people, this term is considered to be as the vassalage. Now, the kings of France were linked to the people by vassalage, similar to the practice among the Germanic people of whom the Franks were known. The big landowners, the nobles, were the vassals of the king, and the peasants were the vassals of the landlords. Now, you see this word vassalage come from the French society itself. From the French society, the word came into existence. So here, vassalage. Here you see the big landowners. If I talk about the big landowners itself, the big landowners, the nobles were under the kings. The nobles were under the kings, and here the peasants were under the landowners. The peasants were under the landowners. So this is the term vassalage, which means the people will be working under someone. There will be the kings, the nobles will be under the kings, and the peasants will be under the landowners. A noble man accepted the king as his senior, and they made a mutual promise. This relationship involved elaborate ritual and exchange of vows taken on the Bible in a church. Now here, a nobleman. Now how the nobleman accept his lord as a king? He will be accepting his king as a senior, which is also known as the seigneur. He will be accepting the king as a seigneur, and they will have a mutual promise. They will have a mutual duty. They will have a mutual promise. Then only this is considered to be a vassalage. Also, on the other hand, they will be exchanging elaborate rituals and vows. Those elaborate rituals and vows are very much common between the nobles and the kings itself. And with the help of the Bible only, you see. With the help of the Bible, the promise was actually being given by the noble people to the kings or to the lords. The noble enjoyed a privileged status. He had absolute control over his property in perpetuity. He could raise troops called feudal levies. The lord held his own courts of justice and could even coin his own money. Now, the noble people has really a privileged status. They really had a privileged status, first of all, and second of all, he had absolute control over the property. He had absolute control over the property, which means maximum property is under him. Also, he could raise the troops called feudal levies. Now, the feudal levies is related to the taxes, the feudal levies. He actually, the noble people actually had all the troops. They had all the troops, and they will be collecting the levies, which means the taxes. Also, the lord held his own courts of justice and could even coin his own money. Now, if I talk about the lord here, as according to the monarchy system, whatever the coins they have, there will be all according to their own currency. If the picture has to be stamped on the coin, this has to be stamped of the king itself. So they can have their own money, they can have their own coin itself, as it has been said there. He was the lord of all the people settled on his land. He owned the vast tracts of land which contained his own dwellings, his private field and pastures, and the homes and field of his tenant patient. His house was called a manor. Now, he was the lord of all the people. Here it has been talked about the noble people. The noble people is the lord of all the people. All the common people will be working under him first of all, and his house is considered to be as the manor. Yes, he used to stay in a very big house. Why? Because he used to have a lot of property. Also, on the other hand, he used to own a vast tract of land. He used to own a vast tract of land, and also they had a private field, pastures, and their own home itself. The noble people are under the kings, but they were considered to be the most powerful, and all the common people were under him. The common people can be the artisans, the peasants, everyone used to work under him. In fact, those people also used to work in small shops. They are all under the noble people. I hope so you are clear regarding the second order, and now we will be understanding about the manorial estate. Now, what do you mean by the manorial estate? A lord has his own manor house. He also controls villages. Some lords control hundreds of villages where peasants live. A small manorial estate could contain a dozen families, while larger estate might include 50 or 60. Now, if I talk about the king, the lord here, they have their own manor house. In their own manor house, there will be other peasants as well, other common people working under him. In fact, those large estates, there are small estates. Under the small estates, people will be there, but in the large estate there were total 50 to 60 families. Total 50 to 60 families will be working under the lords, and they will be living in the king's manorial estate. Almost everything needed for daily life was found on the estate. Grain was grown in the fields. Blacksmiths and carpenters maintained the lord's implements and repaired his weapons, while stone masons looked after his building. Women spun and wove fabric, and children worked in the lord's wine presses. Now, there is almost everything under the manor. Now, what is inside the manor? First of all, daily things that are required by the people, those are there. First of all, the agricultural fields. Now, for example, grain are grown in the field itself. There were carpenters as well. There were also other blacksmiths as well. The blacksmith, the carpenter, also there are women and children who will be weaving the fabric. They will be making clothes. They will be making clothes, and other men will be protecting the whole empire. The other man will be protecting the whole manor house. Also, on the other hand, the children will be working in the wine press. You see, during that time there is no liberty for the people. So as a result, the children also used to work. The women are working, the children are also working under the manorial estate or under the manor house. The estate had extensive woodlands and forests where the lords hunted. They contained pastures where his cattle and his horses grazed. There was a charge on the estate and a cattle for defense. Now the estate has extensive woodlands and forest. Here, the estate had extensive woodland and forest. They have extensive woodlands and forests where the lords hunted, and they contain pastures where their cattle and his horses graze. Now, they have so many things. They have fields where the horses can graze, where the cattle can graze, and they have their own forest where hunting can be done by the lords itself. And also there was a charge. There was a charge under the estate itself and a cattle for defense. You see, everything was provided under the manorial estate. Also, from the 13th century, some castles were made bigger for use as a residence for the knight's family. In fact, inland castles were developed as centers of political administration and military power under the feudal system. Now, from the 13th century, you see, this is very much important. From the 13th century itself only, castles were made very bigger. Why the castles were made very bigger? Just because for the residence, for the military purpose, for the knights itself. The knights are related to the military, those people who ride the horses and protect the manorial estate. Also, on the other hand, in fact, in England, castles were developed. Yes, in England, the castles were developed as the centers of political administration. The castles were developed as a center of the political administration and military power under the feudal system. In England, castles were known to be the most important part, and they were the centers of the political administration and also for the protection of the manorial estate as well. So this is a part of the feudal system. You see the property. Whatever comes under the property, this is the part of the feudal system here. Now, on the other hand, the manor could not be completely self-sufficient because salt, millstones, and metalware had to be obtained from the outside sources. These lords who wanted a luxurious lifestyle and were keen to buy rich furnishings, musical instruments, and ornaments get it from the other places. Now, the whole manorial estate, the whole manor cannot be self-sufficient. Why? Some of the products are imported from other places. Some of the products are being bought up from other places. Like here the salt comes, the millstone comes, and the metalware. They were all imported or being transferred from other places first of all. And here this lords who wanted a luxurious lifestyle. Yes. Now the lords. You see the kings and the lords always had a luxurious lifestyle. So some of the things were imported from other places. Like for example, the rich furnishings are there, the musical instruments, the ornaments were being bought up from the other places. So here you see how the lords had a very lavishing lifestyle during that time under the manor. So I hope so you are clear regarding this topic. So we have understood about the manorial estate, the second order we have understood, and also about the feudalism we have understood that how it became common during the 13th century or during the medieval era. So as we have come into the page, so if you our institute is opening new courses regarding high secondary arts and commerce, and if you want to know more about the courses, then you can join our official WhatsApp group. Under the official WhatsApp group, you will be getting the daily class updates, important announcements, course details and notification, and exam alerts and study maps. And if you want to join the official WhatsApp group, then you have to click the link on the description section. On the description section itself, you will be getting the provision to the link and you will be joining the official WhatsApp group. And if you want to know more courses regarding our institute, then you can contact us in this number 863839171. And thank you for watching my video.